It is 11 a.m. on April 4th, 2022. We're welcome everybody to the regular scheduled commission meeting held in the commission chambers. First off, we'd like to ask everybody to turn your phones off or at least put them on silence if you would. And we'll start out with a prayer from Jabin Carter, then the pledge from Wendy Long.
Dear Lord, God, thank you so much for this day you've given us. Lord, thank you for the weather, the sunshine, and just thank you, Lord, for your vision that you've given us this place to conduct the business of your county. Lord, I just want to lift up all those who are suffering right now, Lord, in Ukraine, just the pain and loss that they're suffering. And I just pray, Lord, that you protect the innocent lives, Lord, the children, just shield them and comfort them, Lord. Just come alongside them, Holy Spirit. Lord, I just ask that you are in this place today, Lord, that you give wisdom and guidance to all those who are speaking and presenting today, Lord. And just meet us right where we're at, Lord, today. We just ask all this in your name, Jesus.
Amen. Thanks, Jabin.
Stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Jabin. Thank you, Wendy. Appreciate that. We'll move on the agenda is approval of the minutes for March 28th, 2022.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion that we approve the minutes for March 28th, 2022.
Okay, have a motion?
Second.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passed. Next would be a report of warrants and review of counter signatures to certified list of claims.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Can you state your name and push the button? Sorry.
This
There
button.
you go. Thank you.
My name's Margie Schul, Deputy Clerk Auditor. Warrants for April 1st, 2022 were $152,173.78.
Okay. Any certified list of claims today?
There is no certified list of claims this week.
Okay. Thank you, Margie. Appreciate that.
Okay.
Cemetery certificates.
We have one cemetery certificate at Rock Point Cemetery for Jeffrey and Haley Reynolds, Block 334, Lot C, spaces 37 through 39.
Okay. Is that all of them?
That's all of them,
I'm
just the
sorry,
one
was
this
that
week.
Vernal Memorial?
Rock Point.
Rock Point.
Okay. Entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve the cemetery certificates as presented.
Second it.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Motion passed. Thanks, Margie. Tax matters today? You have none? No? No tax matters today. Business licenses.
Gabby Hawks Blackburn with Community Development. We have two today. One is a trucking company. Its name is Razorback Trucking LLC, located at 294 South Heritage in Vernal, parcel number 4, 123-703. This is located in the RA1 zone. The home will just be used as a home-based office. This is a home-based business. The truck can't be parked at the home. There's not enough space on the lot to meet the requirements, and they stated that the truck wouldn't be parked at their home, that it's going to be parked on job sites. So the regulations on this one are just that they follow all home-based business rules and regulations, and that no trucks are parked at the home.
Okay. Any further questions?
They both similar, or are they a little different? Can we do?
This one's an in-home professional service.
All right,
Next
well,
one.
Separate.
All right, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make the motion that we approve the Razorback Trucking home-based business to follow all home-based business guidelines as it was presented.
Okay.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passed. Okay.
This next one is Haley Hecklethorn This is a nail salon being run out of a home. It's located in the RA1 zone. Address is 465 East, 1500 North, parcel number 462107. The health department has approved this. Our building inspectors have been out there and approved it. So the conditions on this one are that they follow all home-based professional service rules and regulations. Just to note that includes keeping a separate entrance from the home and the customers, and no fewer than 2 parking spaces shall be provided and reserved for customer use during business hours. No on-street parking will be allowed.
Okay. Any further questions from the commission? Entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve the professional services business license, and it was Kaylee Hepplethorne.
Haley, sorry,
Haley.
my bad.
Hepplethorne Nail Salon with the provision they follow the professional services requirements for home-based business, 2 parking spaces, separate entrances, and whatever other requirements, no on-street parking, et cetera.
Awesome.
I'll second it.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passed.
Thank you.
Thank you, appreciate it. Next item is free days for the landfill.
Greg Jensen with the landfill. The landfill's proposing that our free week for this year is April 23rd through April 30th. Again, that's for residential only, no businesses, no commercial. We are here to ask the commission to waive the fees for the residential only, not refrigerators though. And also to note that you can only bring 4 tires per load.
Okay.
Okay, I'd like to, Mr. Chairman, make the motion that we go ahead and accept the proposal by Greg Jensen for the free dump days, April 23rd through the 30th, residential only, with the notes that 4 tires only per load.
Okay.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
Mr. Chairman, if I might, this does coincide with Duchesne County's.
Yeah, we're gonna piggyback the same days that they are, just helps everybody know what days and not
So
get
it does
confused.
include the transfer station in Ballard.
I'm going there as soon as I leave here to make sure that they're on board as well, but
All right,
every year they have been in the
Okay.
past.
Okay.
thank you.
Okay, thanks.
Okay. Any further discussion? We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passed. Thanks, Greg. Appreciate everything you do out the landfill. Next item on the agenda is an ordinance amendment, ordinance 44202201, an ordinance amending Title 17 zoning of Uintah County Code, adding requirements for interior accessory dwelling.
Okay, Commissioners, this ordinance amendment is something that was mandated by the city of Utah.
Could you state your name?
Oh, sorry, Matt Kazir with Community Development.
Thank you.
So this internal accessory dwelling unit, or ADU, sorry, was mandated by the state of Utah. They allowed us to put some of our own requirements in there, but they were pretty limited in scope on what we could do and what we couldn't. So this was taken to the Planning Commission. They have recommended this for approval to the commission. Part of the requirement from the state is that these interior accessory dwelling units would be allowed anywhere where a single-family residence is allowed in our county zoning code. So that's this top part here. Sorry, arrows don't want to. Okay, so the top part is the use table, and you can see it's permitted use per the state requirement, and it's permitted anywhere where a single-family residence is permitted. So that's the first section there. The second section, you'll see the 35 in there refers to these additional regulations. I believe there's 10 of them. And they closely follow our accessory dwelling units or guest homes with a couple of exceptions. First exception or difference would be that these interior accessory dwelling units they must be owner occupied. That's per the state requirement because they did relax some of the building code requirements for these type of units. So you can't rent out both sides. It's not a duplex. The owner has to live in one of the units and then they can rent out the other unit. So that's the first difference. The other difference, I guess, is number 5 here. It can't really change the appearance of the home, so it still needs to look like a single-family home. Most of these that we're seeing around the state are people's basements. So, they have an unfinished basement and they want to finish it out and put a kitchen and things down there, another dwelling unit. So something like that doesn't change what the outside of the home looks like. And again, that was per the state requirement as well. And then the other part here is number 8 here. They need to be rented for 30 days or more. Short-term rentals won't be allowed in these type of units. That was, each county or city could choose how they wanted to handle that. The reason the state put this in, though, was to help with affordable housing. And so Planning Commission thought if that's the case, then a short-term rental doesn't accomplish that goal. But a long-term rental could help to accomplish that. So that is in there. And then number 10 here was added to that an interior accessory dwelling unit, well, you can have either an interior accessory dwelling unit or an accessory dwelling unit, which would be separate from the house, but you can't have both. You can't have like a threeplex on your property. It's one or the other. And I think that's what's there. I guess the other part of this is we do have an Ashley Springs protection zone. It's separate from the use table because there's some different requirements in there, but it's adding that in there as well into that zone because a single family is allowed in that zone. So that would be the section 5. And with that, that's what's been recommended by the Planning Commission.
Okay. Any further discussion? Any questions?
I did have a question. What was the vote by the board?
It was a unanimous vote.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any further questions? John, do you have any? Nope. Okay, entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve the ordinance amendment for ordinance number 44-2022-01, amending Title 17 zoning of the Uintah County Code, adding requirements for interior accessory dwelling units, as presented by Matt.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion passed. Thanks, Matt.
Thank you.
Next one's yours, too.
Yeah.
Non-compliant building division requesting authorization to record a certificate of non-compliant building or structure on property located at 508 East Horseshoe Bend Road, Vernal, Utah, serial number 070210022.
Okay, with this one, this is an addition to a single-family home, and then also a shed that is being used as living quarters that was attached to an RV. We notified the property owner that there was an issue with that by posting the property. We did have some conversations with the property owner, but he never took care of the situation. So we did send a certified letter out letting him know that the issue needed to be resolved. Once that letter was mailed out, the applicant or the owner did come in, and he has made application now for the permits that's needed. But in the review, there's several items that he still needs in order to have a complete application. So with that, I would recommend that we give the property owner 6 months from March 29th, 2022 to get the property into compliance. And then if not after that date, we could record the certificate of noncompliance on the property.
So that'd be September? Would that be September?
Yeah, September 29th.
Okay. Any questions? No. Questions?
Nope.
Okay, entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion that we go ahead and authorize the record a certificate of non-compliance in building or structures on property located at 508 East Horseshoe Bend Road, Vernal, Utah, serial number 72122, starting 3/29 of 22 and ending 9/29 of 22 would be the 6-month
Okay,
term.
have a motion.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any further discussions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passed.
Thank you.
Thanks, Matt. Appreciate it. Next item is a VOCA grant annual presentation for the attorney's office.
Good morning.
Could you state your name, please?
Sorry, what's that?
Could you state your name?
My name is Angelina Simper, and I am the new Victim Assistance Director for the Uintah County Attorney's Office. And per our VOCA requirements, we are to give a little overview of our program twice a year. And so this will be my first one. I'm new to the office. So I worked at the Children's Justice Center for about 11 years before moving over to the county attorney's office. When I started at the attorney's office, the Victim Advocate Program was designed to help victims of crime navigate through the court process. My goal and efforts since being there have definitely outgrown that program. We don't want to simply help people through the court process, but we would like to educate families, victims of crime, and our community members, and have taken drastic efforts to do so. We have, since I've been there for about 8 months, in my position, I have analyzed the program and the financial reports to find ways to most effectively impact our community and help victims of crime in the most cost-effective way possible. In our office, we have decided to go paperless. The COVID pandemic has been kind of beneficial in that way. It has forced our community members to be a smidge more tech savvy. So we're able to stay connected with them virtually and electronically, but still maintain that personal connection. We've decided to take advantage of the grant analysts that the county has hired. So Zeke and I together work on the financial aspect of the program, which frees up a considerable amount of my time. The directors of the past have not actually taken a caseload, meaning they don't work in court with the victims. They're not doing hands-on things. They're mostly managing, overseeing, that kind of stuff. But with the assistance of Zeke, I've been able to personally handle at minimum 200 victims to victim reps per quarter. This change in working with Zeke has also allowed me to not only take care of the victims in our office, but communicate effectively with the attorneys and also oversee and still manage the staff that I have. Through my kind of deep diving into our financial records, I have drastically eliminated frivolous spending. Besides going paperless, we have dropped our staff down just because since I am taking on a caseload, our need for extra people has definitely decreased. We went from a staff of 6 to a staff of 4, including and myself, comfortably. So we are not running ragged. We're still able to do so effectively and not overwork our people. Since I've been in our office and made those changes, we've still managed to serve 943 victims in the 8 months that I've been there. We've provided over 8,000 services to victims of personal physical crimes, theft, and property damage. Providing these services this year, I'm kind of proud to say that we've only used $128 in office supplies, which is kind of awesome. It was outrageous, a little outrageous before. I don't know if you're familiar with the VOCA program, but it's kind of a you use it or you lose it. So rather than just lose that funding for my other positions and other office equipment, office things like that, we've decided to move those expenditures or that financial budget into training so that we're able to keep our staff updated and on top of their A game. Also, we've moved a lot of those funds to emergency victim funds. So we've taken over providing hotel services for victims and their families that are having to travel to the area and have lodgings, meals, that kind of thing. We're able to provide victims of crime immediate services like groceries, just basic essentials that we've never been able to provide before, which is really nice. I think that our grants, our VOCA funders, as well as hopefully the county, are happy to see those funds used in that way. It's very crucial. Besides making those changes in the office, we have decided to open our office to a little bit more of a public platform. We've started a Facebook page in order to help spread awareness of abuse in general, safety on with your financial transactions to mitigate theft and fraud, things like that. We've also tried to help other agencies in our area, our partnering agencies. This year we decided to donate our time and efforts into Trees for Charity, a wonderful organization. We were able to raise $7,000 for Shop with the Cop Foundation. I think, if my calculations serve me correctly, we've almost covered Shop with a Cop for 2023 for the children in our area, which is a really great cause. So that's kind of it. My overall goal for moving forward is to provide as much assistance to our county attorney, to the community, and to victims of crime, hopefully aiding in the rate of recidivism through public awareness and providing as many resources as we can. We hope to strengthen the families in our community as well as our community and doing so frugally as possible. And that's it. If anybody has any questions about the program, I may not have the answer, but I'll get it ASAP.
No, I don't have any questions. I do have a comment that I'd like to add. Just tell you thank you for all you do. I know it's hard, these grants like that come in and you have to use it or lose it. I mean, it's hard to stay up to date with that and actually spend it in a good way, but it looks like you've done that.
We're trying.
And we sure appreciate that as the county and for all the service that you give to the members of Uintah County.
Thank you so much for your time.
Do you have any comments?
Mr. Chair, can I make a comment? So Angie, you can stay right there for a second. Coming from leadership in the attorney's office, one thing that Angie was focused on the grant, which is awesome, but this is a statutory requirement that the legislature said we have to take care of victims as we go through the prosecution process. That duty falls on the county attorney's office, but we're focused on trying to prosecute the crimes. And so being able to have an active victim advocate office helps us tremendously in fulfilling that requirement so the attorneys and other staff can focus on the prosecution of the alleged perpetrators. So it's a great service that they provide, and it helps us be able to fulfill that statutory mandate as well.
Thank you.
Okay.
Have a good day.
Thank you, appreciate it. Okay, next item on the agenda is a Special Service District 1 update. I'm going to turn my time over to Commissioner Stringer because he is the one that is on that board.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. For those of you that recall, when we were trending down quite badly in our mineral lease revenues, thanks to war and bad public policy at the federal level, production is up a bit, but I don't know that it's anything we can count on for the long term. But as a result of that, we did develop Special Service District Number 1, which was intended to incorporate the Impact Mitigation Special Service District, the Transportation Special Service District, and the Recreation Special Service District. Those were the other three that were left intact were more of our municipal type services. We did get a board together. There is an operating budget thanks to the Transportation District. They got things started with a transfer of about $50,000, I think. And then we have bylaws, we have policies for personnel, we have policies for purchasing. What else do we have? We've been working on the inclusion of the other three special service districts because we knew from the day we made these decisions that we weren't going to just flip a switch and have them in there. So they've been operating as if they were they're continuing their missions while we're completing the assemblage of this SSD number 1. What we've been looking at most recently is insurance that the new district needs to carry, as all of our government agencies do, the cities, the county, and then transfer of the assets and the debts from those particular special service districts. And what we found is that transportation and impact mitigation are probably the easiest, and none of this has been that easy, but they're the easiest to transfer because they don't have the same number of assets that recreation does. They don't have a lot of real estate, I think, if any. They do have debt. One has a very small amount, one has a larger amount. They have some business personal property, but not a lot. So the main thing has been to ensure that before we take the step of actually saying, okay, these functions have now been transferred. Because we can't do, the new district can't start doing the duties of the old district because that is a violation. You can't have two districts doing the same job. So we're slowly moving into that. We're looking, I think, at our last meeting, John, you had, one of the tasks was to look at the insurance. I think we're looking at the trust.
Yes, so the trust is, at this point, the only viable option.
Okay.
So I have been in contact with them, submitted a completed application to the trust, and now waiting to hear back.
Okay, so once the insurance is set, then we have an idea, because I think the trust also insures the other districts. So as we move forward, that would be one of those things that we need to be sure we have no lapses in coverage, that they are fully aware that whatever was with one is now with the new. There have been meetings with the directors and their legal representation on transfer. The thing that became very clear early on is that recreation is going to take considerably longer because of they own real property, they have water in the canals, they have a lot of legal entanglements as well as just their size. So given where we are with the summer season coming on us, our focus is pretty much on the other two first and foremost, and recreation will pick it up at some point later in the year when we've dotted all the I's, crossed all the T's on the other two, and then gotten a complete inventory of what's going on with recreation. We have also been having 2 meetings a month. Most special service districts have 1 meeting a month. The SSD one has been having 2 a month because we had so much that we had to get arranged. I think at our last meeting, we were discussing going back now to just 1. We're getting close enough to do that as things get a little more organized. So, short answer, still moving forward. Longer answer, as we look at the pieces, we're trying to be realistic about schedule, and recreation is definitely going to take considerably longer to do. John, did you have anything?
No, that's a good summary, and if people are interested, the SSD number 1 meetings are obviously open to the public unless there's an agenda item that's properly closed under OPMA. So if people want to get more updates, they can review those minutes and see the discussions that have taken place.
Commissioners, anything?
I have nothing. You guys? Okay. Thanks for the update on that. We will go to this part on the agenda. It's public comment. We're going to take a total of 10 minutes and ask to keep your comments to 3 minutes if you could. So we'll open it up to public comment. If anybody has anything. No one wants? I don't see anybody have anything to say? Okay, we'll close the public comment. We do have need for a closed session today, so entertain a motion for this.
Real quick on that, do we need to use the small conference room so we have some space?
Yeah, it'd be
Yes.
Would that make sense?
Yes.
That'd be
So
good.
if the motion can include adjourning or moving to the small conference room.
It's your turn.
Okay, all right. Okay, Mr. Chairman, no, I read on here, it's your turn. Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make the motion that we go into closed session for the purpose of discussing pending or imminent litigation, and then upon the turn of that, returning into regular session and adjourn.
Okay,
Second.
Move to, did you say the small conference room?
Okay, and move to the small conference room. Sorry about that.
okay. Have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passed.
Minutes, he still hasn't got my record.
Talk too much.
Who talked too much?
Brad does. Oh. Do you need, is it, need to go over there or just come to you?
No, I'll grab it. Do I need to sign that?